He's a king, an Avenger, and the first mainstream black superhero. Now, he's finally coming to prominence on the big screen. So let's take a look back at the history of the character. Here's everything you need to know about the Black Panther. The Black Panther was created by the powerhouse duo of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the same team who gave us so many other classic Marvel characters. Kirby initially called the character the Coal Tiger and designed him with a very different costume, but Lee was always keen on riding the cultural trends of the era, and the name was changed to Black Panther by the time the character went public in 1966. The now well-known Black Panther Party would not arrive on the scene until later that year, but some have speculated that the character's name change was inspired by the logo used by the organization that preceded the Panthers. Whatever the case, the Black Panther was born. First appearing in Fantastic Four 52 and 53, the Panther invites the team to his secluded African nation of Wakanda. It's a technologically advanced land that blends super science with the traditions of tribal life, belying the standard stereotypical depictions of Africa in the media of the time. In fact, even The Thing keeps dropping Tarzan and Jungle Movie references in that first story, as if Lee and Kirby wanted to drive home how different their vision of Africa was. After fighting the Fantastic Four in order to test his battle readiness, the Panther reveals to the group that he's T'Challa, chieftain of the land, king of Wakanda, and heir to the Black Panther mantle that his father T'Chaka bore before him, as did his father's father. T'Challa explains that he's perhaps the richest man in the world, due to Wakanda's deposits of the rare and valuable mineral, vibranium. Vibranium, of course, is the super hard metal used to create Captain America's shield and other famed Marvel objects. When T'Challa was still a child, the physicist Ulysses Klaue murdered his father while attempting to steal vibranium. He needed the substance to power his experimental sound weapons, but T'Challa turned Klaue's own device against him and destroyed his hand. Avengers Age of Ultron depicted a somewhat different version of this supervillain's origin story.
You think I'm one of Stark's puppets, his hollow men? Look at me. Do I look like Iron Man? Stark is... I don't understand. Don't compare me with Stark.
Years later, during that first meeting with the Fantastic Four, Klaue returned, and the now adult Black Panther defeated him once again. From there, T'Challa decided to use his fortune and his powers for the service of all mankind. And about those powers, Black Panther is kind of like the Batman of Marvel. He's typically not that powerful per se, but he's smart and rich enough and blessed with enough gadgets to consistently take out enemies that should be well out of his weight class. That said, he does have superhuman senses, speed, strength, and reflexes. His abilities come in part from a heart-shaped herb that all Wakandan chiefs must be exposed to. T'Challa's also a brilliant scientist in his own right. In fact, he's considered one of the smartest people on the planet, which is really saying something in the world of Marvel. And his costume is composed of, you guessed it, that nearly indestructible vibranium. Following his initial adventure with the Fantastic Four, T'Challa found his way into several different Marvel comics. This included joining the Avengers with issue 52 in 1968, where he replaced none other than Captain America. He'd remain a key player among Earth's mightiest heroes before moving on to star in the book Jungle Action in 1973, where, in a 13-chapter storyline called Panther's Rage, T'Challa faced a revolt back in Wakanda. This was followed by another arc that pitted the Panther against the Ku Klux Klan. It was obviously an intense and surprising topic for a comic book to tackle in 1976, but once again the Black Panther was pushing boundaries within the industry. It was stories like this, and the Panther's acceptance in mainstream comics, that opened the door for other characters of color to arrive on the scene, such as the Falcon, Luke Cage, and Blade. After Jungle Action ended, T'Challa would get the first of several of his own self-titled comics. He'd remain an important fixture of the Marvel Universe in other books as well. In more recent years, he got a serious power upgrade when he became the so-called King of the Dead, allowing him to commune with the past Black Panthers, not to mention lead an army of undead zombies against Dr. Doom. He actually wound up marrying and then splitting up from the X-Man, Storm, who, as it turns out, he had had a romance with many years earlier before either of them became superheroes. It's good to be king. A popular character since his inception, the Black Panther's elevation to major player in the Marvel Cinematic Universe will only continue to make him more beloved. For all things Black Panther, Avengers, and comics, keep it right here on IGN.